Welcome to Create Your Own Economy with Bunmi Ajibade, the podcast dedicated to empowering side hustlers, business owners, and entrepreneurs to create, grow, and scale their businesses. And each week, we'll take a deep dive into practical tips and strategies, insightful interviews, and inspiring stories to help guide you on your entrepreneurial journey. Whether you are starting a new business or you are scaling an existing one, this podcast is a go-to resource for practical tips and expert advice. Join us and start creating your own economy today. Have you ever wondered why some sales pitches work perfectly for one customer, but fall flat with another? Are you looking to boost your sales by understanding what drives your customers' purchasing decisions? What if you could tailor your sales approach to match the exact needs and preferences of each buyer type? If these questions resonate with you, you are in for a treat because I have my friend Cierra here today. She's going to dive into a very important topic for every entrepreneur: how to unlock the secrets to sales success. Right, Cierra?
Absolutely. I'm so excited for this.
Yes. Cierra is always happy to share. And I know today will not be different. Now, I'm going to share a little bit also about Cierra. Cierra has helped over 350 businesses build their audiences and groups on Facebook, resulting in a lot of growth. And I will not mention numbers because the numbers keep increasing because this woman does not rest. I tell you that. She does not rest. But one thing she's passionate about is supporting industry experts to get their voices heard by the people who need them most with high organic visibility and engagement. And her business was launched during the height of the shutdown, and she has grown in leaps and bounds since then. Now, Cierra. And for those of you that are seeing Cierra for the first time, Cierra, she has been on the podcast before. So please go ahead and look for the one she had done before and really look at what she did before. It is amazing if you want to really grow your business. So Cierra, share your story, because I know there are different angles to what inspired you to create your own business. You shared an aspect the last time you were here, and I know from our conversation there are different aspects. You know what I mean. There are different aspects to our stories. What inspired you to create your own economy, your own source of income?
So in my last visit to your podcast, I shared about the story with my son. And so if somebody wants to hear that story, please go back and listen to the other podcast. He's a brain tumor survivor, and his story really impacted my life and changed the trajectory that I'm on. So today I'll share with you that I used to live in my husband's shadow. My husband and I, we had our own businesses when we first got married. We're about to celebrate 20 years of marriage on July 4th of 2024. And when we first got married, we started a construction business together. I did a lot of the business marketing stuff on the background, and he did the actual bids on the client projects. And then he ran the crews that would work on the projects. And so in that time, I kind of stood in his shadow, and whatever his vision was, whatever business he wanted to pursue, I supported him. And I lived for a very long time in our relationship, just always supporting his dreams, his vision, what he wanted. I tried to make my dreams always match his dreams or align under his vision. And that's something really, really good as a perspective from leadership, is the leader should always have the biggest vision. But there was at some point when he joined and started pursuing one of his passions, which was joining the military. He jumped into the Army. We already had 3 kids at the time. We've had 2 more since. And when he joined the Army, we had to put all the business endeavors on hold. And I think that was the point that I really started feeling like I'd lost part of myself. I kept trying to do little side hustles. I kept trying to do like network marketing, different craft projects to like build. I did a bunch of wreaths one Christmas and worked to sell those. I decorated them because I'm very creative and crafty. And so I did all of that stuff, and I tried to make extra money for the family, but it really wasn't very fulfilling for me. And I didn't get wildly successful with those projects, and it didn't really give what I really ultimately desired. And I think that that's one of the things that when my son did get sick, that it pushed me, because my husband did not have the ability to lead the charge. So I had to step out from the shadows and become a leader in that scenario for the first time in my life. Like I had to be a leader in my own right, instead of defaulting and clinging to other people being in the spotlight and stuff being on their shoulders. So the rise and the fall was on their shoulders instead of mine. And that was very scary for me, but I was just like, this is something I really want to do. This is the dream that I've had forever. So far be it from me to not grant that little girl's dream to come to life. And so many times we've had these dreams since we were children that we just give up on, because for me, I thought, okay, well, as a wife and a mom, I love singing. That's one of my passions. I can't use my voice in that way because I have to devote myself to my family now. So it's like, that's not something I can do. But I shifted my perspective when my son was going through all those things, that it's like, if I don't pursue my dreams, my kids aren't going to pursue theirs. And so that was when I started pursuing my dreams, and my husband couldn't be the one leading the charge. So I had to do it. And when I stepped out into the spotlight, I wasn't wildly successful right away. And that's where determination and grit and resiliency and that relentlessness towards, do you actually want the thing that you're pursuing, or don't you? Because if you really want it, nothing is going to stop you. If you go back and listen to the other podcast episode, we talked about the 7 decisions of making a decision, or not 7 decisions, but 7 emotions of making a decision or decision making. And so you want to go listen to that, because there's only 2 emotions that you can have when you're making those decisions. And for me, it was that determination that allowed me to be relentless. So anger can cause you to start the change, but determination is what gets you to drive forward even when things are hard. And that's what happened, is things were really hard for several months. And then I invested into a higher level mastermind, and it actually had coaching. I'd invested into some other programs, but they were just DIY courses. They had no coaching. When I invested into a mastermind that had coaching, that was the catalyst for me. That was the thing that really transformed my life and took me to that next level. And it was that these people were several steps ahead of me. They were exactly where I wanted to be in my life. And they were able to shed light on the simple things that I could do that I just never even heard of. I just didn't even know what questions to ask until I got in their presence. And so I think it was around $10,000 that I invested, and I invested paid in full upfront because I just fixed my credit. I had access to a really high credit card with like a higher limit at the time. And I was like, I'm going to do it. As long as I can learn how to make these payments, it's going to be worth it. I jumped in, I went full force. I was not successful in the first month. It was actually, I think, like 45 days in. It was right before the cutoff date, before I was out of the program. It was like the week before I got my first client, and I collected a $1,900, I mean, not an actual check, but it felt like a check, because I collected $1,900 into my bank account. And I was like, oh my God, look what I did from one client. And that was part of a 2-pay. So I knew that other $1,900 was going to come the next month, and it felt so good. And then my client got amazing results. And so because my client got amazing results, I actually now had more confidence in my ability to deliver without having to be dependent on my husband to be the leader of that. And God love him. He is an amazing leader. He is so good in what he does. To be the wife that supports him, I also have to be that great leader too. And that was where my growth skyrocketed. And I will say this, that when I started growing and I started investing in all these masterminds, I think at this point I've invested more than $150,000 into my own personal growth.
I know.
But when I started doing that in that first year, because he was so bogged down by what he had to do for the military, he didn't get to do the personal growth with me. So I always felt like he was ahead of me. And I mean, it's not a competition, but I felt like in personal growth, he was always ahead of me. So I always deferred to him. But there was this one point where I started recognizing that my personal growth just took off and far surpassed his. And so there's been this kind of ebb and flow. We've been married for so long that if we hadn't already worked through some really hard times in the past, I like our relationship would have gotten really rocky, and it was difficult. We did feel distant for a little bit, but I told him, like, I love you and I'm here 100%. And he said the same thing back to me. And I was like, okay. He said, there was this one conversation where I said I had lost a business partner at the time. And this was like the second or third business partner that just things fell apart. And I was like, babe, am I just a bad business partner? Am I never going to find somebody that is a good fit to be a business partner with me? And he told me, he was like, just give me time.
Oh.
And that was where, like, my heart just melted. It gushed. I was like, okay, that's all we need is time.
That's it.
And it can be really hard to be patient. But I'm so glad that that was like 4 years ago. And I mean, now we're about to celebrate 20 years together. And I mean, it's just like things have gone insane. Like they just like the growth that we've had over the last 4 years for our entire family. We have 5 kids. Our oldest is turning 18 in September of 2024, and she just graduated high school. And we've got 2 other teenagers and 2 younger kids that are like becoming the older kids now. And it's just like, there's so much that could go wrong and so much that could fall apart. And when we're just looking for those victories and we're focused on the vision that we have, it propels us forward and makes it easier to push through when things get hard.
Yes, just amazing story. And I was writing as much as I could. And one of the things that you said over and over and over again is that you made the decision. That's it. You made the decision, because you could have decided to wallow in whatever it is and wait until your husband got out of the military. Because he's the leader, I will wait until he gets out. Let's just manage kids. You could have done that, but one thing you said is that your kids they are looking at how you handle the situation, because whatever you do, they will repeat whatever you did.
Kids don't do what you say, they do what you do.
What you do, what they see you do is exactly what they will do. And the other thing that you said, that I say it over and over again, and thank you really for breaking it down, is the investment in yourself. I tell you, all of you, our listeners, I said this over and over and over again. For you to record the success that you are looking for in your business, especially if it is substantial success, there has to be an investment in yourself first before you can invest in the business. Because if you say you are investing in the business and you are not investing in yourself, it won't work. Because when you invest in yourself, that is the investment you carry into the business. And I'm not talking about the investment of $100 here, $200 there. Real investment. For those of us who are investing ourselves, we have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in investment.
Absolutely.
So thank you really for saying that. Personal development, giving back to yourself, developing your mind. It will open your mind to see what needs to be done in the business, in your family, that's how it goes. So what were some key factors that really made that business grow?
There's so many different things. I know today we're going to talk about the 3 buyer types. Would we want to dive into that right now,
Yes,
or
yes.
are you wanting me to answer one of the other things? Because I
Okay.
can
You know
answer so
what?
many.
Let's go on there. Let's go through the three biotypes. Let's go from there, because I was already, yeah. Let's do the 3 biotypes. So tell us the 3 biotypes, and then we'll then look at how each of them will determine our sales, the success of the business.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I learned early on, I actually learned this before I jumped into and started my own business. It was probably a year or 2 before that. I jumped into one of those DIY courses, and I heard somebody talk about it. And then I started doing more research on it, and it dawned on me that most businesses are only reaching one type of buyer, and that one type of buyer is only 15% of the market, which means that there's a whole 85% of the market that is not being tapped by the majority of businesses, including the most advanced, highest volume businesses like Amazon and Coca-Cola and Disney and Google and all of these other really big businesses out there. They're only hitting 15% of the market. They're not getting the other 85 to really buy into their highest level stuff. They might get them to buy into lower level stuff. We can all do that. We can all sell something super low ticket and get anyone to buy that. But to get people to really commit that you are their person or your brand is their brand, most people, the majority of people, 85% are not buying into that. And so most marketing systems out there are only hitting that first type of buyer. So the first type of buyer, I'm going to write on my whiteboard today. I actually set up my thing so you guys could still hear me, so I could write on it. So if you're not watching the video, make sure you go find the video. I'm going to write it down. Otherwise, you can just take notes on your side. But the first type of buyer type number 1, only 15% of the market. These are the people who are ready to buy now. So ready to buy right away is what I usually say. So they're ready right now. They're going to buy right now. And the thing is that they're buying no matter what. So they're trying to solve the solution. They're at this point where they have to take care of it. Usually these people are desperate. So their buying cycle is actually 30 days. They're buying within a 30-day time period. And these people who are more desperate end up buying not just from you, but they're also trying 2 or 3 other solutions. And so because they're trying your solution along with other solutions, they typically end up being not very good clients. So if you talk to 1,000 people and you got 15% of them to buy, so 15% of 1,000 would be 150. Now you have 150 who jump in. A very small percentage of that are actually going to get great results because they're only focused on your product or your solution. But the other majority of those people are actually going to be trying other things at the same time. So they're not going to be great testimonials down the line. So when we're only marketing to the top 15%, our number 1 thing to focus on is volume. So if your marketing is all geared towards the people who are ready to buy right now and they need the solution right now, you need to be focusing on volume, because if you're not, your business is not going to be very scalable. But this is what most marketing efforts are teaching, is they're teaching everyone to market to the people who are ready to buy right now. One of the things that happens in this case is that you put out all your marketing. So as soon as you put out all your marketing, everybody thinks that they know what you're talking about. They think that they know what your product is. So then when they are ready to buy in the future, they don't come looking at you because they've already made their decision about whether or not they're buying from you. So they don't come to you in the future. They go to somebody else because they're looking for something new and novel. They're not looking for something old and washed out. And so that 15% marketing style actually causes what we call burning the fields. And it's where you spread the message so fast, it burns like a wildfire, but then the field's completely burned and you have nobody else to sell to at that point. And that's where you'll see a lot of these businesses plateau, and they have to depend on newness or novelty or some kind of major change to be able to progress again in the marketplace. So that's buyer type number 1. And I'm going to put buyer type number 2 on our board. So buyer type number 2, and this is my favorite, and this is the one that we gear all of our marketing towards, is actually 61% of the market. 61%. They just want a little bit of time to think about it. So these are our thinkers. These are the logical buyers. These are the ones who make really sound decisions, and their buying cycle is anywhere from 60 to 90 days. So you know at the time that they jump in that they're going to be amazing customers because they've looked through the testimonials, they've read through your story, they've vetted the other products that they might purchase, and then they chose you. They chose you. You weren't one of many things that they chose. They chose you or your product or your brand. They chose that one on purpose. And so those buyers end up being some of the best testimonials. They end up being some of the best customers because they made a really good buying decision and they take their decisions very seriously. So when they jump in, they are all in. So those are some of the best ones. And that's what we gear our marketing towards. So what you want to think of, like, how does that differ versus those who are ready to buy right now versus those who need some time to think about it? Okay, well, client testimonials, but not in a, my client did this. If you want to talk about my product, message me. Not that way. That is geared towards that 15% of the market.
50%.
The way that we shift our testimonials for that second type of buyer is we say, so-and-so just did this amazing thing, celebrate with me. And then we might mention that we have, like, if you want to do blank like so-and-so, just reach out. I'm happy to have a conversation. We might do some kind of soft sell, but the whole idea is soft selling rather than hard selling. We're not doing hard press selling like we would with the 15% of the market. We're doing soft selling. So with another type of piece of content that we might push out to that second buyer type is anything that humanizes the brand or that nurtures that relationship, that entertains them, that just gets them having a conversation with, if you're the brand, with you, or if it's the brand image and it's on a page that is 100% just the brand, getting them conversating with the brand. So the goal is just building that relationship of trust. And there are a lot of things that we can do to get people to trust quickly. One of my favorite pieces of content, and this could be a social media piece of content, it could be a video that's disseminated, it could be something on the website, or it could be something that they download in book form or whatever, however it's delivered to them. It could be a lead magnet. This piece of content, all it needs to do is get them a really quick win. So we help them transform their mind. So a lot of people focus on content that helps them shift beliefs. If you've been through any of Russell Brunson's webinar trainings, he talks about shifting beliefs. Well, we can shift a belief in a very big, impactful way by getting people to take a quick action that gets an amazing result. And so one of my favorite things to do in my business is give people what I call viral questions. And the reason is because if you use this viral question, it's just one sentence, you go drop it into a group, and a group of like 30,000 people plus, and you get a lot of comments and you get a lot of engagement instantly. And if it's a group that only has your target market, now you're in conversations with hundreds of your target market and you're able to start building that trust train. And so now that we're doing that viral question, it's amazing for them because instantly they're like, I can get high engagement on social media. I can get in conversations really fast with my target market. I can build trust. So now they're finding all of these things out about themselves, and it literally took them 30 seconds to do. So it takes them, it's a really quick action. So when I say quick, some people are like, oh, sure, like I have this thing that if they do in 30 days, no, that's not fast. That is slow for most people. They want to see an instant result or else they're not thinking twice about it. So something that they can do that's really small, like in the fitness world, something that I used to have our clients do so that they would stay really bought in once they got in on the inside, is I'd have them go be like a detective inside of their pantry and just turn around products and read the ingredients. And the moment they started, I was like, go look at the stuff you have in your cabinets, whether it's canned or bottled or in bags or whatever. Go look at the food and find things that have sugar in them that you did not know had sugar. Like it's the craziest thing. And so they'd go be this detective. They'd go do it. It was something that was really quick and it was kind of fun for them. And as soon as they did it, they just felt so good. So why is that so impactful in terms of that nurturing content? Why do I call them quick wins? Well, it's because it's building trust in 3 areas. So first thing, anytime I tell somebody to do something and they get results that fast, it's building trust in me that they can trust what I say is factual. It's true. I'm not going to steer them wrong. The second piece is that it's building trust in the processes. So they know that the system or process that I'm delivering to them actually works. And then number 3, and the most important when it comes to sales, is it's building trust in themselves that they'll actually be able to follow through, that it is simple enough. And this is the biggest piece of why most businesses either fail or plateau or don't see the growth that they really, really want to have. It's because they're not simplifying the process enough that people can stick to it for the long term.
Yeah.
It's so easy to fall off of a system that we're expecting a sprint. So we can do a sprint for 30, 60, sometimes 90 days. But when we're just constantly pushing, and we don't ever have simple things, it causes us to get burned out very, very quickly. And that happens with most of the marketing courses out there, with most of the programs that are out there, with most of the DIY courses for B2C or B2B. You'll see that where people have these really hard sprints, but they don't have the simple processes that if you would just get, like, if this is my favorite question. So everyone can do this right now. If you will just ask yourself, if I could only deliver 3 simple actions to my client, that if they implemented this consistently over the next 90 days, they would get incredible results if they only did these 3 things. What are those 3 simple actions? Not complex, not hard, not difficult, not things that take a lot of time and effort and energy. What are the 3 simple things that they could do? And if you deliver that to your client in the first 30 days, the results are going to be incredible. So that's part of that nurturing, because we even have to follow this buyer type. We haven't even gotten to buyer type number 3. We have to follow this buyer type stuff once people get on the inside, because don't you want them to continue with you? Don't you want to have LTV or the lifetime value? Don't you want that lifetime value with your client to be extended even further? So we still have to continue nurturing like this once they get on the inside. Okay, so the last one is buyer type number 3. And buyer type number 3 is 24% of the market, which is another bigger chunk. It's still bigger than the first type one. Yes.
Yeah.
And almost nobody hits these. And the reason why is because you can't keep their attention on your own. There is no way that you, as the business or brand or however much you humanize it, there's no way that you can keep that attention on your own. And this is where I tell people that they need a community environment where other people are doing the championing of your brand, where other people are doing the talking for you. So this 24%, their buying cycle is 6 to 12 months if they are nurtured really, really well. If they're not nurtured very well, it could be years before they become clients. So follow-up is extremely important. But these people say 2 types of things. These are the people who either say, number 1, I'm never going to buy. Or number 2, I'll buy from you someday. We've all had one of those where somebody's just like, someday, yes, I love your stuff. It's so great. I'm going to buy from you someday. And you jump on call after call or conversation after conversation. And it feels like the boy who cried wolf because they never purchase in. They're just this type of buyer. And they need a different type of environment to be able to say yes. Usually these people are swimming up to their eyeballs in debt. Or they've had like a lot of really negative experiences in the past, and they're very distrusting because they're still healing from those past experiences. That's okay. Whatever they need to be able to move forward, we just need to nurture them really well. My favorite way to do this is inside of a Facebook group or some other kind of community that trains them to come and hang out and spend time, because they might not engage, but they will sit in the background and they will read other people's comments inside of the group. And when they see other people championing things, they will feel so much FOMO and they will want to be a part of it. So having a community is a great place. It's like having a pressure cooker or a hot pot where other people are promoting your system, your process. They're promoting you. They're promoting how good they did once they listened to you or once they did the process. So having a group is a great system to actually produce these 24% and get them to buyers as well.
Wow. Now I understand the value of putting people in a group, because even I wonder, some of them don't say a word, but the goal is that they are reading what other people are writing, they're digesting it, and eventually, 6 to 12 months, fear of missing out. Eventually, one day they say, you know what, I think I'm missing out. If everybody is saying all this stuff, let me test it. Let me say one word, or I know where to go when I have this kind of situation. Oh my goodness.
So something to keep in mind too is some like demographic statistics for all of social media in general. Men do not engage as much on social media. If you get into a conversation where you have a group of people, very rarely do you have guys do the majority of the talking where there are men and women in that environment. So women tend to be more chatty in the group of multiple genders. And so when you go into a group and you start paying attention to that, you recognize that men will scroll and not engage, and they'll view and engage with it mentally, but not physically. So you won't even know that they actually like the post. You wouldn't believe how many times I've sat with my husband. He's scrolling. He shows me something. He's like, this is hilarious. He doesn't even laugh. He doesn't like it. He doesn't do anything with it, but he shows it. He liked it. He engaged with it. He spent time on it, but he doesn't use the emojis to engage. He doesn't comment on it. Women tend to be more engaging in terms of comment, which is so interesting because the algorithm on Facebook specifically will share more posts that get more conversations happening down in the comments. So if you can make something be there's a few different things that I say for content. If you really want your content to get a bigger boost in the algorithm, first off, make it emotionally triggering, whether that's making somebody laugh, whether it's a really moving story that brings somebody to tears, whether it's something that's just really happy and exciting, like all of the birthday and anniversary celebrations. Use those shamelessly, celebrate birthdays, celebrate all of that. People love it. And they engage with it because it makes them happy. It makes them share in those memories of their own experience. So it drives that emotion. Even if you make somebody angry and they do the angry emoji, any other emoji other than the thumbs up will actually get a bigger boost in the algorithm. So if we can drive those emotions, we get that bigger boost in the algorithm. Then the next piece is do pieces of content that spark conversation down below. If you can get other people talking on your post, that post will get a huge boost in the algorithm. So recently, one of my clients, he's in gut health. He shared something that was about vaccinations. It was a post about that. And it was a very polarizing kind of post. So there's going to be people who are wildly in for it and people who are wildly against it because it's one of those more polarizing topics.
Opposite.
But with that, people started having conversations in the comments. My client didn't even have to have conversations in the comments for that to be wildly successful because on its own, the topic itself, the content itself is interesting enough to spark conversations with other people. And people will go back and look at who's the person who posted this. And that's the same thing that happens with viral questions inside of other groups. Like people will start conversations on these viral questions. To give you an example of a viral question, one of my favorites, my client a few years back, he did this like 2 or 3 years ago, and it was so crazy. So in the first week that he started with me, he posted a viral question. He got about 200 comments. He was mind blown. He was like, this is amazing. So the next week he did another one and he got 800 comments in the first 24 hours. And he was like, whoa, this is so cool. So the next week he did another one and this one was insane. It blew up to over like 2.4 thousand comments within 24 hours. And he actually hired a VA to help him go through and like respond to everybody because there were just so many. And that being said, the post was really simple. He was in a dad's group. He actually helped dads with working through mindset, becoming better men, stuff like that. So inside of this dad's group, all it said was on a scale of 0 to 10 or on a scale of 1 to 10, how much did your dad teach you about fatherhood? And it was just so polarizing because you had all of these guys who were like 0, and then you had all of these guys who were like 10 because they either loved or they hated their situation with their father growing up. And because of that, it caused just people to have conversations with each other.
Yes.
So most people were starting to have conversations like, yeah, me too. Yeah, this happened to me. Oh, like, and they would share their story. And then somebody else would comment and resonate with their story. And they were just starting to have their own conversations down in the comments. And as soon as you can start those conversations, and a lot of people are willing to spend more time on the platform because of your content, Facebook shows it to more people.
Wow.
So one of the other things with the algorithm that we recognized with Reels and going viral with Reels is that the Reels that get people to either watch the reel over and over again, or it's a longer reel and people's attention is retained for a long time. It's all about the time of attention. It's not necessarily about the length of the reel. It's about the amount of attention that the reel holds. Yes. So if they're holding attention for more than 30 seconds, even if it's a 7-second reel and people keep watching over and over again because they're reading a caption or they just think it's hilarious or whatever, if it's holding their attention for more than 30 seconds, the algorithm gives it a big boost.
Wow. Wow. This is amazing. Look, everybody, this is amazing. And I hope you will watch this over and over and over again to really understand what you're doing in your business, how you are doing it in your business, and how you are engaging. And you can use these 3 types of buyers, analyze where your buyers are coming from and how you are treating them and what you need to do. Because as you say, the content really, really matters. It's not just writing. It's not just posting. And I had something on Instagram. This woman reached out to me on Instagram. She wanted me to invest in something. And I explained to her that I was not interested, that she's a small business person. If she can tell me what she does, how she started, is it a business that she can talk to other people about, I can bring her on my podcast to help her. No, every 2 days, she will tell me why I need to come, why she needs me to do the investment. And so one day I blocked her. And then I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me unblock her. So it's not about you pestering people. When you pester people, it still wouldn't make them buy from you. It's you understanding where they fall and how you need to talk to them, how you need to talk to them about the benefits of what. And if they don't want to sell, put them in a group. And how can you put them in a group? Just as Cierra said, just have some of those questions. And look, we can do this. We can be successful. I'm going to have more conversations with Cierra. And I also think you also have opportunity to have conversations with Cierra, how she can help you. Because if you don't know how it is done, that is why you go to somebody who that is what they do. If somebody, if their skill set is different from yours, go tap into their skill set. You might need to pay some money. Yes, because she has paid over $100,000 to acquire the skill set. So don't be too tight. But before you do that, Cierra, do you have any offer of something that they can start with that wouldn't cost them anything, to at least to be able to see where they are right now?
So the first thing I would say is inside of our Facebook group right now, if you go over to my Facebook, you'll be able to find the link for my Facebook group. My name is Cierra Lueck. My name is spelled Cierra Lueck. I'm the only Cierra Lueck in the entire world. So you can go
Are
find
you
me.
sure?
Yes,
Are you
I
sure?
am. I am. I'm the only one with my name spelled with a C. So I don't know if there's any other spellings of Cierra,
With a
but spelled
C.
like that, that's it. It's just me. So you can
No,
go
don't
find me
worry.
on
I
Facebook.
might look for one for you. Don't worry.
Well, good luck. Good luck. If you Google me, all of my stuff will come up. So if you go to my website, cierralueck.com, all of my social medias are on there as well. So you can instantly find me from my website, cierralueck.com. Inside of my group that we have right now, I have free trainings inside of there. I've also shared some really valuable insights and posts. So you can go over to my group, and if you send me a message and let me know, hey, this is what I'm looking to learn right now, or this is what I'm looking to build a skill in right now, or this is the support that I need. If you send me a message on Facebook, I'll be able to guide you to the best training for where you're at.
Yes.
That being said, in terms of what I have and something that is tangible that you can take without having to watch a 30 or 45-minute training, I have something on my website. You can find the link there. It's for viral questions. I call it Viral Questions 101. It has templates of viral questions, because I mentioned that today, where you can go download the templates. It has a pay what it's worth. So there's a suggested price point. It is worth far more than $27. I have people who have used the viral questions and they've gotten high ticket clients just from the viral questions alone. So it's worth way more than that, but there's a suggested price point on it, but it's literally pay what it's worth. So if you are in a really tight spot financially and you're just trying to get your business going, you can also drop a zero. I would be very thankful if it was more than that, but if you wanted to drop a zero because that's where you're at, I totally understand and it won't hurt my feelings. So that one's a pay what it's worth, but it's Viral Questions 101. You'll get 80 viral question templates that you can download and start using immediately, plus a training on how to craft your own or shift those to be all about your industry or your niche or your brand. So that training comes in there too. So you'll have access to that. That one's probably the best one for anyone to start with, no matter what level your business is at. If you're not leveraging viral questions, it is a really great skill to develop, because it'll help you not only in your marketing on social media, it'll help you in your emails, it'll help you in your communications with your clients or with your team. It'll also help you in your communications with your family, because the easier it is for you to spark conversations and then learn to shift those into what's most important for the benefit of both of you, it's a wildly good skill to learn. So that's why that's one of my favorites. I would love it if you guys wanted to get access to that. I'm happy to share that. So you can go over to my website and you can find the link there.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. Thank you so very much. I want to thank you for sharing and unlocking the strategies for our audience to elevate sales success. And look, Cierra, I hope you will come back again to share more secrets with my audience, because I know you have them. You have them everywhere. I know that you have them. So Create Your Own Economy podcast is presented by Claro Growth Resources. We are an organization that promotes the growth and development of individuals, organizations, and businesses. And we do that through coaching, training, and mentoring. And if you look for support in your business, reach out to us, clarogr.com, and we'll be happy to support you. Share this podcast. Don't forget to look for Cierra's other podcast interview. I will see you in our next episode. Thank you for tuning in to Create Your Own Economy with Bunmi Ajibade. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you are considering starting your own side hustle, I invite you to take our free assessment test to discover your readiness. Go to www.clarogr.com/checklist. And if you need a personalized guidance for your business, contact me directly for a free strategy session. Let's work together to turn your vision into reality and chart your path to success. Go to www.clarogr.com/MEET. Remember to subscribe, write reviews, and share this podcast with others ready to create their own economies.